Welcome, everybody, to a bunch of Bowl of Sharks and Things podcast. I'm your host, Cody.
Matt.
I'm Mitch.
Who am I again?
I think you're Zach. Or Wesker.
That can't be right. Axiom? Axiom. That sounds
Zach?
right.
Axiom Verge?
No.
Yeah.
Well, we'll just go.
It's past that time of year, folks. Hope everybody had a good New Year's and Christmas and holidays and whatever it is you do.
It's 2016.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
It is 2016.
Luckily, this is the easiest correction you'll ever make. If you make the 5, you can just easily close that in.
Just
for the
circle it
6.
back up.
So it doesn't matter.
You have a weird looking 6, but it'll be fine.
Yeah.
It'll be real obvious that you wrote 2015 to begin with, but that's okay. I think. I don't know. Maybe.
Hack that planet.
Hacking. 75% of the way there.
Is it wrong that I every time I hear a keyboard typing, I just picture David Hasselhoff just doing just back and forth constantly?
That is a bit strange. I'm sorry. I'm the one typing. I was a horrible person and forgot to get the word out that this was happening.
People don't need
God,
to
Cody.
know.
Yeah, whatever.
Oh my God.
So you might notice that we aren't doing our typical game session beforehand this week, and that's because, whoa, something just happened. I got a whole bunch of stuff just showed up on my birthday.
Well, happy birthday.
Oh yeah, by the way, it's Cody's birthday.
It is my birthday.
As subtly as he just
Happy notification day.
It's because Mitch sent me a game and then another game and then another game. So Steam was just like in the corner, like, poof. I'm like, oh, okay, fine, sure, thanks. Thanks, Mitch.
Happy birthday.
Yeah.
Aww.
My birthday falls during a Steam sale, so it makes it really cheap to buy me games.
Nothing says happy birthday like, hey, stuff's on sale. May as well.
It's okay. I've been eyeing I have like 6 Steam game windows open right now. Like, this sale ends tomorrow. Should I buy them?
See, I don't know.
I'm eyeing a bunch
You
of
just
like.
guilt your friends into it. That's all you have to do. It's like, hey, it's my birthday. It's a Steam sale. Did you know that?
See, I wouldn't want to buy Cody a game because I know he would never play it.
It depends on what game you want to buy me.
Well, no. Here, the thing is, your backlog at this point, you will never get through.
So
You will be an old, crippled, dying man before you even get halfway through. So there is no point.
I'm kind of already there.
An old dying man?
Oh, I'm not dying yet. I mean, we're all dying.
Okay,
good. So like,
It'd be
I'm
real awkward.
Well, you're just
This-
dying sooner at this point.
this
I don't know.
will-
With
yeah.
the new haircut and everything, you don't look so old anymore.
I don't. I look less, as one of our coworkers said, I look less homeless now.
Yes.
To which I responded to all the cardboard boxes that have been disappearing. I've just been taking them home to build a condominium. It's fine. Guess I have to reschedule that plan. It'll make an apartment complex. So I've been. This is our transition this week. I've been eyeing a bunch of games that are on people's Game of the Year lists. And so that's what we're going to talk about this week.
Which is really, really weird.
2 years. Why? 2 hours. Why? Why is it really weird? This year's been a great
Because
It's been a great year.
pretty much like all of the Western Game of the Year awards have all been basically Witcher 3. But then you look at like all the European ones and it's all Bloodborne.
So I haven't finished listening to the Giant Bomb one because that's like, so this year's Giant Bomb cast. In case you don't know, obviously Mitch and I are big Giant Bomb fans.
Yep. That happens.
It's a thing. It takes some stuff to go on
Careful
here.
saying that on the internet.
Yeah.
Might put you on a list.
They do like, whoa, my camera is freaking out. They do like, they
Doesn't
record
like
their
the fan.
It doesn't like the fan, but
No.
man, it is hot in my apartment. They do. They still do like the 20. They still do the Game of the Year list. Man, hang on.
Dude, I was about to say, you sound like the other end of my Burger King order.
What?
I don't.
And then
No,
I don't know what's going on here. Someone's internet connection is affecting this call. That might be mine.
I think it's yours because you're the only one who's going like robot on us.
No, it's fine. Can you hear me
Take
now?
modem. Take modem. Apply directly to your head.
Am I?
Better.
Okay. So they actually record their entire deliberation process for the Game of the Year stuff on Giant Bomb. And because of that, there's 20 hours of podcast discussing all their topics. I'm into day 2 still, which is like 6 hours in.
I was about to say, are we about to do a 20-hour Sharks and Things podcast?
No, we're not. I don't have the patience.
Cody, it's only 15 to 18 hours, really, not 20.
So, okay, it's 18.5 hours. Still a lot of podcasts, but yeah, no, I've been reading everyone's like daily. They release like everyone's top 10. They have like contributors from other sites come on and be like, hey, here's my top 10. But they had yeah, some of them have been like The Witcher has been fairly clearly a winner for some stuff, and makes me wish I'd played more of that. That's actually one of my games I'm going to finish this year. I have set my goal. My goal is to beat 1 game a month this year.
Your resolution?
Yeah,
Of this
that's
year?
one of them.
See, I'm going to take your resolution. I'm going to up it because what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually take a whiteboard and a calendar, throw them up actually on my wall, just mounted. And I am going to schedule out the games that I need to beat because my backlog is disgusting, very much like, except Cody's is like a filthy trash whore bin.
Yeah, we don't
And
That's for very specific reasons.
Don't
Granted,
talk
my-
about the backlog. No,
Yeah.
don't ever talk about the backlog.
Yeah. So I'm going to schedule all these out and try and beat some of these games. The main issue is my Street Fighter addiction because Street Fighter like throws everything off. It goes, oh, here's all these new fun games. You have the Phantom Pain? Yeah, it's still in shrink wrap. Why? Street Fighter. You've been playing the same thing for 7 years. Just go back. It's fine. You love it. Keep playing it, buddy. Come on.
It's a great thing, you know. Then
I own 335 Steam games, and I've maybe played. We looked this up. I have played less than 50% of the games I own.
Yes, you have. I was actually stalking that earlier. I went, how many of these has Cody actually beaten? and I was actually going through like title by title going, yeah, no.
So I put my account into one of those like tell me how much my Steam account's worth pages.
that was a
Terrible.
bad idea. Bad.
I'm not as bad as one of my other friends. I went there and like because it does it at current MSRP. So my Steam account is currently worth like $1,400. On sale, it's worth like $700. And then it tells you like how many games have you beaten? How many games have you played? And it's literally like
You just spent $1,400. What's your return investment? $1.
to be fair, most of those games I got through a Humble Bundle or something like that.
Large bundles where you get a bunch of games that you're
That I'm never
never
gonna-
going to touch.
And then I
You
watch
can
somebody
hide
play.
them now.
And then someone plays a game on like Twitch or on YouTube. I'm like, huh, that game looks interesting. Oh, I own that game. Oh, I'm gonna play that now. That was how I started playing Dust Force like a month or two ago.
So yeah, I'm going to need that same kind of motivation because I still have like Poker Night at the inventory sitting in my system. I'm like,
Pokemon
since-
Inventory is okay. Pokemon Inventory 2 is amazing.
it's going to take me a lot of motivation to play that because
Just load it up. Claptrap is hilarious. It's so good. All he can say is heyo. Heyo. Mitch knows what I'm talking about. He was there for that conversation.
Shut up, Steve.
Even Steve could have won with that hand. And all he can say is heyo. Heyo. Shut the fuck up, Steve. So the game's real dumb in all the good ways. Game of the year. Let's start this conversation. So we're not going to do like a formalized list. I might make these jokers write their games of the year, and we'll post on the website because we haven't put anything on the website in a long time.
Yeah, like a once a year thing.
we have
Yeah.
a website.
We have a website, believe it or not. Podcast goes up on there. Some articles are there if you care to read. Stuff happens every now and then. I've been thinking about what we should do with that page lately, and I've got no ideas, and I had to come up with
Well,
something.
my only assumption is it's It's just a countdown shark, and it just has a shark going horizontally across the screen with a timer that
So
runs
we
out
talked
until Sunday. So it's just
We had talked about
Okay, I'm gonna
actually,
make one of those now.
actually that was actually a pretty good idea. We were talking about making a game and just making it the homepage is like just swimming around in a pool or something with a shark. I don't know. Dumb ideas come up when whatever. So game of the year stuff. Let's have that conversation.
How are you going to start that conversation, Cody?
I don't know. And The Witcher's a great game. Play that game.
there's no
so
real good way to like start this off. Just fucking say something.
So I'm prepared to have some fights, some dukes, because this is going to be a very opinionated episode of this podcast, unlike every other episode of this podcast.
Which is completely unbiased and very straightforward delivery.
Only the facts. We only deliver facts.
Yeah, right. Facts is whack. Look at my coffee mug. I love my coffee mug. It says coffee on it.
You're delaying the inevitable.
It's his old man coffee mug.
Okay, let's say this. Fallout 4 is an okay game. It is not game of the year. I'm throwing punches right away here.
Okay.
I'm with you. I agree.
I'm ready
All
to
right.
have this
So
conversation.
it is not game of the year. Why is it not game of the year material?
Because that story is not good. So
Okay,
To be fair, what Bethesda story is good?
okay, hang on.
Just throw that at me.
Full
Which-
disclosure,
Which
there will be
Bethesda
some.
story?
Oblivion
be-
Gates, Mitch. Oblivion Gates.
There will be some. There will be some spoilers
Morrowind was good. That's the answer right there.
and other stuff we're about to talk about today. So I got to the point where you finally meet your son in the Institute, and then that's just kind of where that game ends. And it's like, hey, go rescue the wasteland.
Save everybody.
It's like, what? Congratulations. I mean, so I applaud them for not doing the Bethesda thing and be like, hey, the world is ending. By the way, go collect some flowers for me, please. Like, it doesn't have that, like, oh my God, the world's going to explode and end and we're all going to die.
No, it feels more like, hey, you know what? You could save this place, or you couldn't. It doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah,
Really,
whatever.
it's up to you.
Which is a fine balance I have to play with those games because, yes, on one hand, you could have Oblivion and Skyrim like, hey, the world's ending. You should maybe do something about that. But if you've got,
I would rather be a thief.
yeah, hang on, I'm gonna go become an assassin for the the blood. Just
The Dark
Brotherhood.
Brotherhood.
yeah, give me like 10 hours and I'll get right back to your world-ending disaster. Just
BRB murder.
give me some time here, folks. I mean, I appreciate, but on the other side of the spectrum, now we have Fallout 4, which is basically like, yeah, if you want to, you could do something, or you don't have.
It's not going to go anywhere. But
Yeah, like after Mitch and I had the conversation, like I said, I got to the Institute, I met my son. He's like, oh, yeah, it's kind of where the main story ends. I was like, what? Excuse me? Baking powder? Which is twofold for me because on one side, it's like, cool, they finally did the thing where you block off the other factions so you can't become the leader of everything. But they did it in such a weird way that I don't know if I'm okay with it.
yeah, it's you take over a faction and then you nuke the other factions.
See, actually, I had a really weird experience with that because I got to the Institute and I'd already met the Railroad, met all the factions, was already got to the Peridian in Brotherhood of Steel, you know, like pretty far into like every little bit. So like when I had the Battle of Bunker Hill and everybody's just going apeshit, there was the synths from the Institute, there was the Brotherhood of Steel, and there was the Railroad. Yet only people shooting at me was the Railroad, and even then, like the main characters, like they just kind of run and go hide. If I went up, they would actually sit and talk to me, saying, "Hey, how's it going? You could look like you could use some patching."
So that's
don't mind me that I just shot your leader in the face with a revolver.
I mean, that was
No big deal.
so there. Like other things to that game are like, hey, that game still has a lot of jank. We've had that conversation that game has a lot of jank still. Like this is the fourth game they've done with that engine now. You think that maybe that's something they would have figured out? Well,
No.
was New Vegas on that engine as well?
I'm sure it was.
I don't remember.
I'm
It
pretty
looks
sure.
too damn similar to be on a different engine.
Yeah, it's one of those things of like, hey, you've had 4 years to make Fallout 4. Why does it still have all of the jank?
See, that's the problem is like game design is not easy.
No, it's
and
not.
It's hard to work out bugs, especially so for instance that those bugs could all just be the engine that they're using, and they could be bugs that can't be easily fixed without throwing a bunch of money at it. So instead, they're probably just like, yeah, people already know about these bugs and they're already okay with it, so we're just going to sell it again. We're going to try to patch it over a little bit this time, make it a little smoother so that they don't show up as often, but we can't actually fix them completely. I mean, ultimately, that's probably what happened. They're not...
I mean, I understand that. So one of the things, like, we've always prided ourselves in this podcast about, like, a lot of our stuff on here we know about because the three of us have game design experience and are willing to look at stuff from the other side and have those conversations. And so I understand that it probably isn't like a super quick and easy fix. However, that being said, like, I don't think it's wrong to expect more from them.
The biggest thing that I'm sad about is that they didn't make a new engine for this one, or they didn't make a whole new iteration, especially. Like all they did was port it to the new the next generation, and like fix it up for that. So, yeah. They could have went and made a new iteration of the engine, and they could have said that, hey, we're making a new iteration of the engine, so it's going to take an extra year or two.
Yes, but remember the good old problem with all of this is money.
Yeah.
You, like trying to redevelop it or make it a new engine and then a whole new Fallout is going to be a stupid amount of money, especially even for Bethesda. But they have to do it at some time.
Well,
they do.
This engine is getting
money
pretty long in the tooth.
But money.
Yeah. I'm just hoping that this was the last game on this engine, essentially. And it was just to get them into the next gen consoles, and that's it.
I hope so. Like that. So everything, all the qualms I have about Fallout 4, and like the fact, I don't think the base building is that great. I don't think it was needed. I don't think there's a lot of stuff in the game I think was just kind of tacked on, and in typical Bethesda fashion was kind of like, the modders will fix it. I like that's the best Fallout game I've played. It's the only Fallout game that's managed to keep my attention for longer than like an hour. I've put way more time into Fallout 4 than I thought I would for all of my complaints, but I don't like it. And that might be why I'm kind of upset with that game. Would
you say that the expectation was set a lot higher than what we actually got?
Well, so I think maybe for me the problem was that I don't tend to get hyped about Fallout because I just we've had that conversation. I don't find post-apocalyptic worlds to be that interesting to me. I don't like the idea of just here's Boston and I just need to find the one building that isn't completely boarded up and that happens to be the dungeon for me to go into. Like that isn't pardon me, that isn't super interesting to me. However, that being said,
you prefer the rolling hills and then a hole in the ground for your dungeon.
Yeah, I like there's something to me about stumbling across in Oblivion or in Skyrim, stumbling across a cave that no one has seen in hundreds of years that happens to be full of Draugr and all of that stuff. But that's besides the point on this one. I got excited because this actually looked the first Fallout game I was going to enjoy, which I did. I enjoyed the time I had with it, but I don't think it's for me that it doesn't get Game of the Year because of I expected more from this one and I don't know why. Maybe that's the problem.
It was the one that you were looking forward to. It was going to be the Fallout that you actually play.
Yeah.
And so it had to deliver on all these promises that people have set from the previous ones.
Yeah, that might be it. I was living vicariously through others who were like, Fallout is the best games ever. And I'm like, I don't really like them.
My biggest problem with Fallout 4 is kind of the same thing with all Bethesda games. Actually, I did kind of like the stuff Cody was talking about with Skyrim, is just wandering around and stumbling into a cave somewhere oh, well, shit. And then you're down in this cave for 3.5, 4 hours and How did I end up here? Oh my god, it's 4 a.m. What?
I mean, I've had some
But-
of those moments in Fallout, but they haven't been as enjoyable to me. Like a lot of my time in Fallout has been like, well, I'm going to go out here and I'm going to schedule out all the stuff I need to grab.
Yeah, there's a lot more micromanagement in Fallout 4. However, I think the amount of playtime people have put into Fallout 4 speaks volumes about, the game itself as well. I mean, I don't know a single person who started up Fallout 4, played it for a little while, and was like, that's enough. I don't like this game anymore. Everyone's
Yeah.
sunk like 20 plus hours minimum into the game.
Which,
And I
I
don't
mean,
know if that's just a product of, okay, there's got to be more to this. There's got to be more to this. I just need to keep playing and get past this bullshit or something. But the game has, it has like a certain appeal to it, and it just keeps pulling people back in. So
I will give them a lot of credit.
I
ahead,
didn't
Zach.
even finish it because I just lost interest. I got to the point where it was like pretty much choose whatever faction you're gonna go with, and then I was kind of like, do I want to go with Brotherhood? Do I want to go with the Institute? Do I want that?
Well,
and then I just never played it again.
Well, and I think that's going to be probably this is where I would say is the biggest downfall of Fallout 4 is not the bugs, not the glitches, not the nuances. It's end game. So once you finish up, so you play through whoever faction you want to play through, the replayability essentially drops down to 0. Because after I finish this game, there's going to be nothing else that's going to draw me back to Fallout to replay through it. Because all those factions, they play very, very similar in terms of like mission structure, story structure, go here, fetch this, grab this, do this, kill this.
They're almost all identical in that regard.
Yeah, and if you look at like the past Fallouts, if you did like, let's just say New Vegas, and we had, like Powder Gangers, and we had NCR, Caesar's Legion, all of them, like they had elements of, like each other, like the basic fetch quest crap, but they were still very different. Like if you played through it, and like if you were an evil, I think the karma thing is something that I do miss the further that I get into Fallout, because that affected everyone around you of how do they talk to you, how do they treat you, and it also plays into, are you an evil character, are you a good character? Because if you're going to Caesar's Legion is dramatic. Everything about you is evil, and people know you are evil. Fallout 4, I will never have anyone run up and be like, "You are evil," and just start attacking me. So
I didn't like the replayability in that game. I think comes from the fact that you're not going to see the same thing. You're not going to see the same. Like they want you to replay that game, but there's not anything. As you said, there's not anything different enough between those factions. Like, yes, I want to maybe see those other stories and how they end up, but there's nothing.
Like in all seriousness, like
There's
I think
nothing super interesting about any of the factions, really.
I feel like the companions are actually almost more interesting than the factions.
Yeah, like so that's one thing I love about Fallout 4 is like Nick Valentine's a cool character, and like all the companions in that game are interesting. Do they all have? So here's something I don't know. Do they have like quests for the companions that you can go do?
Yep.
Yeah, there's always a companion quest for each of them.
So I've been rolling around with what's her name?
Kate,
No, the other one.
Piper.
Yes. I like Piper.
News girl.
The news girl.
God, I still just want to waffle stomp that. Like I don't like her.
Waffle Stomp?
What is waffle stomp? Take what you will of that word.
I don't know.
You put their head on a grate, and then you
waffle
head
you waffle
through
stomp
grate.
it.
Oh, okay. Why? Like Piper's cool. She's got a dope hat and jacket, man.
Her dope hat and jacket does not replace her horrible personality. Anyways, not a fan. Kate, way better.
I mean, that might be true. So, like, I'd be in, like, there's things in there, like, I want to go explore more of the companion stuff, but I don't have any kind of want or desire to finish that game. I probably will because it's a good game to kind of throw on and play while I'm watching.
A lot of people find that about a lot of Bethesda games, though. It's like they never. A lot of people don't finish Bethesda games.
This is true. Like,
Also,
How many people here have beaten Oblivion?
dude, I've
That's
beaten.
actually very surprising.
Okay, do you want to know how many? Okay, small side tangent.
So I don't know if
I made a note of beating that game at least once a year.
Oblivion
I have
or
beaten
not.
Oblivion in full 7 to 8 times.
I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of the Knights of the Nine quest line in that game. I don't know why. The part where you're in that game and you're standing on top of the
world.
Essentially Mount Fuji or whatever.
When you're way up in the sky.
yeah, you're like standing on top of the world. It's like, what the hell's going on, man? What mushroom did I just eat, and why am I tripping? I like that. I
Also,
don't
just
know
to
why.
clarify for you, the true term of waffle stomp is to defecate in the shower and then proceed to stomp it down the drain with your foot. That is why I use that term.
Yeah, that's why I described it as such with her head.
Yes.
I don't know what. Whatever. Fallout, I mean, we've said our piece about Fallout 4. I think that game had a lot of potential, and it still could. Like, I'll be interested to see what the modders do with that. I think Mitch and I had the conversation about why I don't like the base building in that game, and I don't know if we've had that conversation on here about how, like, I think that the settlement management of that game is kind of bad in the fact that, you know, hey, maybe
Just very lacking polish.
So Mitch and I this last year got into a game called RimWorld, which is a great game. It's like a simplistic version of Dwarf Fortress, it's a colony building game.
You
like,
say simple.
compared to Dwarf Fortress, RimWorld is a very simple game. It's colony building. Like, you get colonists and you have to build and survive, and your ultimate goal is to build a spaceship, but nobody ever does that because why?
Well, according to Reddit, lots of people build the spaceship, Cody.
I don't understand why you build the spaceship. I don't like that. It's interesting to me.
You love everything space. Why? Why would you not love that?
That's how you beat the game.
That's how you beat the game. I would much rather just keep going and have interesting stuff happen. But that game, like, I would love to see aspects of like that put into Fallout. Like the thing that has and what Dwarf Fortress has, it's all about managing jobs. So it's like, okay, I need to grow food, I need to produce materials, I need to make weapons, I need to make, I need to build things, I need to do all these things. But the thing there, it's all queue based. So I have all my colonists, and I say, okay, you are good at medicine. I'm going to get you a priority 3 on medicine. So anytime anyone gets sick, your job is to go heal them. Like, that is what your job is to do. Or you are a prime grower. Your job is to go farm.
At the very
when
least,
you've got
there should be
time.
some sort of management interface for the settlers that are there. Because trying to remember that person over there that has the weird hairdo and that ugly hat, that is my farmer, so I don't accidentally reassign them to guard duty.
I'd like manage like a queue. I think it'd be great. Like, I don't like the fact that at most, I think the ratio for figuring out how many settlers you can have is 10 plus your charisma plus something, right? So you can have like 20 some followers.
No idea.
I'm fairly certain that's what the thing ultimately ends up being. But like, I don't want to, like, I would just like to go in the town, maybe open up an interface and say, okay, I need to grow some food. I want you guys to go out and collect scrap for me so I don't have to go do this. I made a lot of noise. I apologize.
Did you just punch a guitar?
I hit the mic stand with my ring. I apologize, folks.
Ring-a-ding, baby.
I would like something like that. Like, those things to me would make Fallout 4 a better game and a better interface for dealing with actually constructing stuff. That's Fallout 4. I mean, we've talked about it at length on this podcast. It's a great game. I don't think it deserves to be Game of the Year.
I don't think so either.
No. I wanted it to be, but like after, hitting the 60-hour mark, I'm just like, it did not have the New Vegas effect where I wanted to go back and rebeat it.
However, since I've never played Fallout 3 or 4 or 3 or what's the other one? The New Vegas. I kind of want to do that, but I want to do have you guys heard of a Tale of Two Wastelands mod?
It's pretty baller.
So some crazy person out there made a mod for those two games where it puts a train in them and it lets you go from game to game with the same character. And they put improvements from New Vegas into Fallout 3. So like aim down sights and stuff is in Fallout 3 then.
Well, yeah, because technically you're playing New Vegas.
Yeah, basically you're playing New Vegas, but it loads up Fallout 3.
The Fallout 3 story. Like, it uses the Fallout 3 like master file.
Yeah. It's a like really weird.
How in the world would you do that?
I don't know.
Not that hard.
Like conceptually, it's not crazy. You literally take the Fallout 3 master file, you put it in there, load after the New Vegas master file, and then you have some sort of plugin that acts as the glue between them, essentially. That forces you to start somewhere, like when you start the game, and that creates all the interconnections between. You have to probably replace half a dozen meshes or so, and that's very simplistic. I'm sure there's hundreds. And like some textures and a few AI tweaks maybe. I'm sure there's lots and lots of other little things that need to change, but that's basically the concept. You just need to have the two master files and something to glue them together properly.
And then does it just auto launches? Does it auto launch the game separately, like in its own instance, or does it launch it within New Vegas but just pulls the info from that?
Essentially, New Vegas engine is loading all of the Fallout 3 files. It's just loading them in. So you're technically playing in the New Vegas engine, which by itself, just doing that alone makes it like a little bit better because of the improvements that New Vegas brought.
Mother of God, that train.
Yeah, I'm interested in checking that out. That seems cool. What else came out this year that we want to talk about? Like Witcher 3 came out. I think I have
the only complaint before anyone starts like bashing the game. The only complaint that anyone can validly make about Witcher 3
too much nudity.
Is fact.
Well, maybe, but continue.
Everyone complains. It's a slogfest. There's so much stuff that you just want to do because they make it so good. It's like, this guy has a really interesting story and he's drawing me away from the main story, but I don't want to go over there because I want to play the main story and I want to actually beat the game within 200 hours. God damn it. God damn this game.
It was too good.
Have you guys? So Mitch and I played The Witcher 3. I don't think Mitch has beat it, right?
The main story, no.
Okay, I've not beat it. Zach, have you played The Witcher 3?
Nope.
Matt, you played The Witcher 3, right?
Nope.
Oh, what? Well, so Mitch and I are going to go and hang in Cool Kid Land, and
we're going to be over here
playing The Witcher.
I have lots of speculation and random excerpts that are completely out of context that I can contribute at any time. Thank you.
So if we were going to talk about like what my personal game of the year is, Witcher 3 might be it. I liked Bloodborne a lot.
Bloodborne and Scholars of the First Sin, because I'm going to consider that a different game. Those are amazing games. They're going to be in my top 10, but The Witcher 3 is definitely probably.
The Witcher 3, like if you haven't played it, and I don't know if Andromedas has and hanging out and chat with us today has played The Witcher 3 yet, but like that game does a lot of stuff that I didn't know was possible in games. Like as far as they made fetch quests interesting in a way that like no one else has, and like
they made a lot of the fetch quests interesting. There are still some really shitty fetch quests.
Well, yeah, I mean you're gonna have those in open world games like that. But
see, I really want to play it.
Play it.
Well, we discussed this the other day. Is like, yeah, there's not as much. It's not as important to play 1 or 2 before playing 3, but like, it's just a completionist thing for me.
So
we
can talk about
oh
this.
God.
Like, one is a slogfest at this point. I tried.
1 isn't even a slogfest. 1 is just like this grueling, agonizing, seeping wound that you would continuously keep trying to band-aid over for the period of like 60 plus hours.
Are they R2-D2 band-aids?
They are not R2-D2 band-aids.
No, they're C-3PO band-aids.
Ooh.
Okay, well, the point being, the first game, it's interesting. The combat is okay, but good lord, does it just drag on and on with additional mechanics, additional crap that you need to know, and like the story payoff is like little to nothing.
The problem is that the original Witcher had a lot of like mechanical bugs with it, and it was difficult to slog through the game because the story was a good story. I mean, it's got a good founding of the story as well. It's just you have to slog through all this sometimes nonsense in the game, because the story like dips and turns and all this weird shit where like half the story becomes irrelevant after certain parts, and then
I'm
on top
pretty,
of that,
I'm
the
pretty
mechanical
certain I wouldn't
bugs.
play 1.
I would play 2. I was going to play 2, but then The Witcher 3 came out, and I just want to get. So they do a thing.
I think.
Something.
Brain. I read something, and then my brain just went
Dark side.
The Witcher 2, it was, at least in a modern context, is actually a good game. I mean, not in a good. Not. I don't mean that as that came out.
The Witcher 2 is a good game.
Yeah.
It had some really interesting difficulty to it.
They made
The game went like scaling difficulty in the beginning, like went spiked up and then went slowly down over time. And it just became easier after a while. But like their first freaking boss fight was
Absurdly difficult.
trying to beat a Dark Souls boss with a soup ladle.
That's possible. I mean, it's
Also,
totally
why
possible.
does Dark Souls not have a soup ladle?
It does.
It does.
Dark Souls 2.
Does Dark Souls 2 actually have a soup ladle?
Yeah.
You get it from
Man,
the
I have not gotten far enough.
no. It's in like so you have to go. Is it when you have to go kill? We're gonna take a Souls tangent here. That's completely unheard of for us. But if you go back to the starting area and you kill the Cyclops, and you go back to the 3 witches, they give you a soup ladle.
Motherfuckers. And Cyclops for ladles. Needle.
Yep.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
But so the Witcher 3, I think, does a good enough job that you don't have to know what happened. Like they do, you can import your saves, which affects your world tendency as far as like things like how non-humans are treated and some of that stuff. and like that, but The Witcher 3 is a good enough game on its own that you don't need to do that. The Witcher 3 is such a good game that I went and bought the books that the games are based off of.
See, and that's the thing is like I know it is an amazing game, and I really do want to just skip to 3, but I play games better when I have attachments to the characters, and I think I feel like at least playing Witcher 2 would give me a good
I would say, yeah, play The Witcher 2. I plan on playing The Witcher 2
good
this year.
foundation.
Here's what you do. Go read The Last Wish, then play Witcher 2. Done. You're good.
Yeah, The Last Wish. If you don't know, it's The Witcher. The Witcher is actually a Polish series of novels from like the 90s. They are very dark. They're very gritty. They are very good. They're well written. They have some very interesting takes on fairy tales.
Yeah. Take the Grimm fairy tales that like Disney stories are based off of, and go back to their really grim, gritty roots, and throw a Monster Hunter into the mix.
Yeah, like the Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs story in The Last Wish is probably one of my favorite stories in that book. I think that's really well done. The Last Wish is a great book. It's like $10. Go buy it, read it. Can't recommend that one enough. But yeah, The
So
Witcher.
I already own The Witcher 2. Like I
Yeah,
just have to install it and play it.
Well, if anyone here does not actually own the games, I would be surprised because they've been humble bundled, discounted to death. Like you can like Witcher 2 is $3. The Witcher 1 I think is $1.29.
Yeah, like they're
Like just disgustingly cheap.
yeah,
Thank you,
like,
Steam sales and Humble Bundle sales.
and GOG and all that stuff.
I think I actually have like 2 to 3 copies of Witcher 2. Like it. Oh wait, I think I actually okay. So I have 3 copies of Witcher 2, and then I have 2 copies of the original Witcher because they've been bundled so many times.
so. My other part with The Witcher, we can probably wrap up our Witcher talk because I think the internet knows The Witcher 3 is a good game, and I don't think we need to do that more. But this more is on CD Projekt Red and like them as a studio is that hey, they released this game DRM free. First of all, if you didn't buy it on Steam. It sold very well, and they've supported it with almost a year of free DLC. Like, yes, some of that DLC is kind of like dumb DLC, but it's free. Like, it's a bunch of stuff that other companies would have been like, hey, do you want to give us like $20 and you can have all these new armor sets and
Horse
This-
armor.
horse armor?
Fucking
And,
horse
like,
armor.
Have to
You
bring
can
it
get
up every
this
time.
really cool beard and hairstyle pack to make him look super cool. Like a bunch of other places, like that has made CD Projekt Red, I think, in this game. That might be part of why it's been winning so many Game of the Year awards. Is that like they have done a lot. Like that game came out, and a lot of people didn't like the way the combat worked or like how movement was in that game. And then they're like, okay, that's fine, yeah, sure. So they released a patch. It's like, okay, here you can change your style of how the game moves. Thanks.
Yeah, it's a slider. It's like I want it more like Assassin's Creed, or I want it, fast and loose like Witcher 3 is.
No, The Witcher 3. Yeah. It's
It's
good game.
loose. It's fast.
Loosey goosey.
Sure.
A better rating scale would have been no, because I really doubt it could even mimic Devil May Cry style combat, because that's just absurd.
No, it's that game is definitely more Dark Souls than Devil May Cry.
I'm fine with that.
Okay,
Yeah.
so and end result here for Witcher 3. It's on sale on Steam right now for $30. Should you go get it right now?
Yes, you should buy it. It's on sale all over the place. If you don't own a PC that can run it, it's on Xbox One and PS4 for $29.99. Like I said, I don't think we need to keep singing its praises. It's been winning tons of Game of the Year awards across the internet. I think it's a great game, and you should totally just go play that game. Even if you haven't played Witcher 2, The Witcher 3 does a good enough job of kind of getting you into that world in such a way that you don't need to have played those.
So okay, I'll ask this, and then we'll stop the Witcher talk. Do I need to play The Witcher 2?
I don't think you do.
You don't need to.
Like literally,
It's
all
a good
playing.
storyline. Like,
Because of
good-
you, I am clicking the purchase button now.
Yep, I am
Yes.
actually loading Steam and purchasing.
All right. Purchase,
The only
game of the
only
year.
thing you want, the only reason why you play Witcher 2 is because the save game can affect the world of The Witcher 3. Like,
But I guess I should say, will I miss anything?
No,
Like,
I don't think
Okay.
so.
It's not like Mass Effect. Like if you did not play Mass Effect 2, how different would the story be in Mass Effect 3?
They purposely designed The Witcher 3 to be a standalone playable game.
okay.
that's why like the 3 is kind of hidden in the title. Like it's purposely designed and marketed in such a way that you didn't have to play the rest because they understood that not a lot of people were going. Like those are dense games, and not everyone's got the time to play them.
And not a lot of people actually played 1 and 2. Like they were kind of like 1 was definitely a niche game, and then 2 kind of started getting a little bigger. Like a lot of more people started noticing it when they realized, whoa, this Witcher game got a lot of talk about from a lot of different publications. And then 2 came out, and that was a big deal, and a lot of people started talking more about it. And then now The Witcher 3 is, hey, we got this hugely ambitious project in the Witcher universe. But we want to kind of let new people join in too, because they haven't gotten to see it yet.
So here's my question. What is the point of the expansion pass? Because
there's currently 1 paid DLC, Hearts of Stone.
that's what I'm saying. Like it's $9.
There's going to be more.
They plan for like 5 expansion packs.
Well, and for the Hearts of... I don't even know what the name of the expansion is, I'll be honest.
Heart of Stone.
Heart of Stone, thank you. Like, what's the... Do you guys actually know what the clock time is in terms of, like, what are you getting for, like, gameplay per dollar?
I think it's another like 2 hours or something like that.
More, I think it's more than that.
I thought it was a lot more than that.
Yeah. It's
I can't imagine, like,
something
Witcher 3
stupid.
DLC and being like, yeah, you'll have it done, like, within the afternoon. That's not...
Yeah,
that's
like,
not
a lot
what
of
you
people
see.
praise it as probably like the best paid DLC ever.
What? The Taken
in terms
King
of-
obviously has the
Oh,
best.
sorry. The new storyline will give players over 10 hours of entertainment.
Yeah, there you go. That sounds about right.
Yeah. So, chalk another thing up for CD Projekt Red. Oh, that's
Right
yeah.
now it's $9.
Yeah, and they've already talked about another expansion. I don't know when they're planning on that thing coming out. Yeah. The Witcher 3, it's a great game. You should play it. So I guess this first hour what I want to do as we finish up the first hour of this fun Game of the Year wrap-up thing is the 3 games that we would have considered Game of the Year, which would have been Fallout 4, The Witcher 3, and since this is the Dark Souls podcast, probably Bloodborne, right? That would be I'm assuming that the 4 of us will have those 3 games in our top 10 games.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, I already kind of have my top 3 picked out.
I have my top 3, but we have many things to discuss.
Yeah. So I'm going to try and pronounce his name right this time. Adromedeus in the chat asked if we have favorite company, and I think
Least favorite.
Oh, least favorite?
Least favorite.
I can't read.
Least favorite company. What's that stupid pharmaceutical company that charges?
That's not a gaming company.
No, but he
Gaming
can.
company.
That dude can suck a fuck.
All of his companies are declaring bankruptcy now, so you're fine.
Good.
He's going to jail.
He also
Okay.
went to jail.
All right, my spite is out of my system. We can resume back to game talk.
Anybody who makes those nasty like Farmville games, Zing
King.
all
Well, okay. King got purchased by Activision.
Who
mean,
owns
right.
Candy Crush?
This is King.
King.
Is it King?
Yeah, it's King.
All right, well, fuck him.
There you go, Cody.
Or now owned by
Pronunciation
Activision.
guide.
If anyone wants like reasoning behind that, go seek out a episode from South Park in season 18 regarding microtransactions and micropayments. It has by far the best description of why the games are bullshit and the people behind them are just complete assholes.
They play on. There's some psychological stuff going there. We might have a conversation later, but they prey on people who have impulse purchase problems. That's what it is.
That's how most people make money. It's called marketing. They just made it a little easier for people. They're like,
it's why I can
here's the button. Now you have to just click this button.
It's why I can never fully embrace buying stuff online. Is like I ordered this nice 27-inch monitor, and I spent a fair chunk of change on it, and then I had to wait for 2 weeks. And my wife was like, "Are you okay with spending that money on that monitor?" I'm like, "Yeah."
You got
like,
buyer's remorse.
Are you sure? I'm like, "Well, it hasn't shown up yet." So like the realization I bought this thing hasn't set in yet.
Give it a few days, and then once you're actually like waiting for it, you just kind of go, you know what? I don't know if I really need this right now.
Maybe I should just cancel that.
Yeah. That was a very Jim Gaffigan. I don't even think I should have ordered that.
No, I don't know if we could actually say that we have a least favorite gaming company. It's just literally the people who would make only the like games that prey on people.
Because otherwise there's like no
Dong or whatever the hell his name is.
Well, okay, well there's been
Clash
no
of Clans and games like that.
Well, there's been no one who's come out and just been like, the asshole representative of any particular like gaming company. There's no like hated personality, or at least this year.
I know a lot of
like,
people,
oh, screw that guy.
I know a lot of people tend to hate on EA. I mean, as Adromedeus.
Yeah, but they haven't done anything like wrong this year.
Yeah,
like EA, like they've released games, but there's never been a "oh, you motherfucker" kind of moment.
Dungeon Keeper for mobile was the only game they've ever done that where it's like, wait, no, fuck you. Like, that's the only time.
Screw you for that money grab.
Yeah,
I really feel okay. That I have to throw out another South Park, another one with the Oculus Rift. Fuck you. Just please seek out those couple of episodes. It'll be so worth it and bring so much more context to this conversation.
Yeah, I'd like as much flack as EA gets. I don't think they're far from being the worst offensive people out there.
The thing is that you don't make a lot of money making video games. That's a cold hard fact. Games are expensive to make, and you don't make a lot of money. There are a few companies that are exception to this, like Mojang with Minecraft. There are runaway hits like that. Hell, the Ludian Studios, the guy who made RimWorld, that's a runaway success at this point too. Like there's a few things out there that make a shit ton of money for no explicable reason. But for the most part, you don't get in the business of making games to make a lot of money. You make a living. You can make a comfortable living. Some people can make a really good living, but you make games because you're passionate about it. Like even the executives at these companies, they're not there to make an ass ton of money. I'm sure they're making like probably $500,000, which to us could be a lot of money. But as for an executive, they're probably paying on the lower, like average or just below average end of the scale, because their companies don't make it ass ton of money, hand over fist like pharmaceuticals would, or like Comcast.
Yeah.
So they're there because they have something for games. I mean, you can't be in the game industry and not have an inkling of liking something. Like, even if it's just mobile games, like someone who just likes to play mobile games now and then on their phone could be a CEO of EA. Very good business sense, but that's it. I mean, he doesn't know how to make a game. He doesn't need to, but they have something for games.
Yeah, it puts companies like EA in a weird spot. Like, that's as we talked about at the top of the hour. Like, a lot of people listen to us because we don't join the crowd, and we don't crowd bash EA. Like, we don't hop on the bandwagon on everything. We like to take the time to think about, like, well, why do they make the decisions they make? Like, for them and for any company. I mean, EA is a big company. Like, Activision, EA, and Ubisoft are all big companies that have to make money, or else, like the last Assassin's Creed game, Syndicate, which I want to talk about later, like, that game was made by like 9 studios. That's like
nuts.
That's 9 studios.
That's a lot of people who have to get paid, and you have to buy like, a lot of people tend to think like indie games. You look at indie games and like, oh, it's really cheap. You can make it. Like, do you know how much a license for, like, an official license for like 3D Studio Max is? It's like a $10,000 license. Like, that's not cheap. That's for one person. So
that's why things like Blender exist.
Yeah,
but at the same time, they're not the same.
Yeah, so I mean, that's when you look at, like, so that's what Kickstarter's a weird thing, and maybe we'll have a conversation about Kickstarter later because it was a weird year for Kickstarter. But like, people look, it's like, oh, look at this indie game getting made for like $50,000 over here. How come, it costs? How come, Tim Schafer's asking for $3.3 million for Psychonauts 2? Well, because first of all, Tim Schafer and Double Fine is in San Francisco, one of the most expensive cities to live in, which means you have to pay your people appropriately. And also, development software is not cheap. Licensing's not cheap.
The real awkward thing about that whole Tim Schafer Psychonauts thing, though,
I knew there was something coming.
No, it's just look at Fig.
Yeah,
look at how well it's done so far.
Fig is a weird thing.
Well, it's Fig, but he has some sort of involvement with.
He's
Fig.
on the board, so Fig is on the board.
He was
so it's kind of like,
yeah. What I mean,
so technically, the cuts that he gets at donations, kind of in a roundabout way, just go back to him.
Yeah, I don't know. Like,
I don't know how Fig works, so I don't know if it's like Kickstarter where
it's kind of like a Kickstarter, but it also gives you opportunity to invest if you have an investor status.
Fig is they act as an umbrella company essentially for other game companies, and what you do is you invest. So you can do a donation just like you would do like Kickstarter. I want to donate this money and I want to see this product finished, with no guarantee of any kickback. There's obviously rewards, and people have to deliver on those rewards if they want their reputation, but that's it. Just their reputation is on the line. However, there can also be an investment in the game. You can put a certain amount of money forward. I think it's a minimum of $1,000 for an initial investment, and you have to meet some other investor qualification that I think it's
you have money.
Well, no, it's not just that. You have to have like specific qualifications according to like some government agencies.
You need to be like an accredited stockbroker or something.
You need to be an accredited investor. You have to go through the entire process, which basically means you have to make more than $200,000 a year for the past like X amount of years. You have to or you can have more than $1 million in like liquid capital. There's a couple other like things you can do, like to qualify for investment stuff. But yeah, like there's the FCC, or is it the FCC? Federal Trade, the Federal Trade. Yeah, those guys are working on a way to like make people like you and I who don't necessarily.
They're trying to make an additional category of investors so that
something. So like the $1,000 minimum. Basically, they just want to make sure that if you are going to invest $1,000 of your money, you actually can do that without completely ruining your life.
Yeah, no financial ruin. But the thing is with Fig though, is you invest in Fig.
No, you invest in the game, but you're investing in a shell company who then gives money.
Yep. Well, Fig plays as that shell company. As
No,
that
so Fig creates another company. This is like this. This is a weird thing that they do. They create a shell company that is between Fig and the publisher, that which you become an investor in that company, and your money goes to that company, who then pays the developer with money. They do that in such a way so that A, Fig is not responsible for anything, and B, the investors and the people who are crowdfunding this game aren't tied explicitly to the public or to the developer, so that if something happens to the developer, nothing can. The typical thing with investing is if you tie yourself up in a company and that company gets sued, you are ultimately could be held liable with some of that. So that shell company acts as an in-between, but it's a buffer between all three at that point.
Well, at the same time, they also want to make sure that as an like if you're an investor in something, like if you're an investor in a game company, you have a say. You have a vote on what they do, because you're ultimately paying for the ultimate end goal. Where in this case, you are investing in the publication of the game.
Yeah.
So you're paying that for this game to be released, essentially. That's all. So you could get a say in how it's released or where it's released, and that's about it.
So good example. So if you were an accredited investor and you invest into your game, or your game of choice, does that give you like any kind of entitled kickback, as stated by Fig? Meaning, like, if you invest into this game and if successful, then do you own X amount of that game, or do you own X part of like that Fig shell company? Because like
you own part of the shell company, to which it prevents the too many chickens thing. So you invest in the shell company, and then the money you put in there gets dividended out to you, but then the money you put in is paid out towards the developer on the other side. Basically, the shell company is writing checks. That's all it exists to do.
Okay, so if you do put through an investment, you are investing in the company, but you're not actually investing of having an actual like shareholder stake. In that developer.
Yeah, you will get like a return on that investment.
Yes.
Well, separately, like you'll have a return on the investment, and that's handled by that shell company.
Yes.
But you will not have a shareholder stake in the developer company.
No.
Correct.
Okay. Just to protect you, so like if Double Fine were to go under, you are not part of that. You are part of the shell company that could potentially give you your money back.
Yeah, but also in that case, you are also not investing in any future endeavors they do. It's just that.
It's a one-off. It's not. There's no futures whatsoever. Yeah. Okay. Man, we just went full on business.
We did. It was real weird.
Welcome to Sharks and Things Economy Cast.
Welcome to Sharks and Suits.
No, that's a different show.
Oh.
I'm not giving money to somebody to make a cereal bowl. Okay, this is not the Shark Tank.
Dude,
I wanted that as the name of the podcast, but that was already taken. So,
well, you should have thought of that beforehand.
I should have. Well, she in the chat asked a question about consoles and stuff, and I would kind of like to talk about it, but let's talk about Bloodborne real quick. Then we'll talk about your question you asked. Since we started this whole thing off with Bloodborne,
bring it all back.
Bloodborne was a great game. It's the best Castlevania game. As I've said all year long, it's the best Castlevania game there's been in years.
It's an amazing
I
Castlevania game.
I actually enjoyed Lords of Shadow and Lords of Shadow 2.
It's fine, but it's still the best Castlevania game there's been in years.
Oh yeah,
Because Bloodborne has
not the
the unique
platformer.
advantage of having its own usable or its own independent camera.
Yeah.
But what's great though is that like Bloodborne itself was a absolute phenomenal game, and I honestly am going to stick that as my personal game of the year. The top of my top 3. But it was everything. It was everything I hoped it would be, plus more.
It was that whole I got you hooked on Dark Souls, and you were kind of like, I like Dark Souls, but I wish the combat was a little bit faster. So Bloodborne.
Well, the combat wasn't even just faster. It was just like overhauled of everything. Was like silky, smoothie goodness, like a cloth floating in the wind. It felt great. Everything about it. I have nothing further to say other than cloth flowing in the wind analogy. That's it.
Okay, all right.
What's the emote? The brush back.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the best one ever. It's great.
It was good.
Yeah, I don't.
Bloodborne was a great game because it took Dark Souls, it took that formula that everyone likes so much, and it made it faster and removed shields. It put everyone on the offensive for once.
Which is how I always played Dark Souls anyway, which made it great.
That's how the pro players of Dark Souls played. Like just dodging, no shields, just running around two-handing weapons. But
who needs a fucking shield? I mean, for serious.
Well, there's the guns close enough to a shield, right?
Gun shield. I use bullets to deflect attacks.
And technically, there was a shield.
There's two of them actually.
There's two of them
the expansion. There's actually one in the expansion that
is an actual shield.
Yeah,
that is not a plank of wood.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, Dark Souls is one of those things that I like. We could probably talk more about, or not, well, Dark Souls, yes, but Bloodborne. I don't think any of us were super surprised that game came out and was really good. Like, I think we all were like, "Yo, dog, that is a good game."
Still need to pick up the Old Hunters.
Yes. Oh, the Old Hunters is absolutely phenomenal, and in fact, is probably much more difficult than the original game, which is saying something.
Yeah. So, From Software doing another good job. I'm excited for Dark Souls 3. I might actually buy that Super Collector's Edition because I want that giant knight.
I really actually think I'm going to do the same thing.
Yeah, that knight statue is dope.
Yeah, the two statues in there. Big ass, it's like a Lord of Cinder. Yeah. Looking forward to that.
So, like, as far as Game of the Year goes, that's kind of, those are the three games I assumed that we thought were Game of the Year contenders. I'm sure we all have 10 games we played this year. Well, I'm going to make you guys all write up your 10 games. That's what I've decided. And we'll have those on the site at some point. Is there any games you guys want to talk about before? I really do want to get into Welshie's question about consoles because I think this was a weird year for that.
Well, mine will probably be really, really quick.
Yep.
I don't know if you guys got to play it, but this was super late sleeper for me. Divinity: Original Sin.
So I played the original release, and I thought it was pretty good.
And I came on board at the enhanced edition, and I just kind of brushed it by the wayside. I'm like, great, another top-down isometric something. And I ended up just getting it on a whim and started playing and just had this moment of, Mother of God, what have I been missing? Because I don't know if you remember back to when you first played like Baldur's Gate or Baldur's Gate 2. Then you're just kind of like, okay, interface is okay, whatever. And then you like start kind of
terrible
get going.
at the time, even. Come on.
Even when it first came out, the inventory was clunky. But even after that, like you just move a little bit forward into it, and then you're just sucked in. Where nothing else in life matters, and just hours upon hours upon hours wasted and lost, but out of sheer love. That's exactly what I've run into Divinity.
Is that you fall in love?
I could not stand Divinity at all.
That's why we're together on this podcast, folks.
Okay. The big thing was combat, very, very satisfying. Just being able to go invisible and critical backstab people felt fantastic. Like it was just very, very satisfying. I liked all the combats and just the story. I have no idea how to even like complete this sentence at this point. Is combat was fantastic, and the story has kept me wanting to keep playing because it took a left wing turn, or just a very left turn.
I'm like for games that take right turns.
Yeah, stupid right turn games. Well, okay. Well,
you've never been part of our D&D campaign where we only go left. Where should we go left? There's no left. What's the most left we can go?
Well, okay. Like with Divinity,
right.
you have like your normal like medieval setting thing, and you start going through, and then it's by the way, you're at the end of time now. Just one of those. Well, didn't see that one coming.
Yeah.
And that was after a very long, agonizing, trying to solve a murder mystery quest, which still took me for frickin' ever to get through, by the way.
Yeah.
But overall, it's just very, very good. If you're a huge fan of those like top-down isometric games, especially Baldur's Gate. It just seems it really just plays like a better Baldur's Gate to me.
Pillars of Eternity is in that same category, and that's a great game as well.
Which I also have on the back burner. Otherwise, I feel like I'd bring that up if I had played it.
I played that later in the year, and I was kind of surprised at how much I actually enjoy that game.
My only other sleeper hit, actually the other game that makes my top 3 is
that face.
What is it? It's gonna be Xrd, isn't it?
It is. Actually.
Called it.
It came, but see, that's the thing is that's why it's hard to say that for 2015 because it came out at the absolute tail end of 2014.
I thought it came out for consoles in 2015.
No, I'm pretty sure it came out for consoles about a year ago, like a little bit over a year ago.
I don't remember. I know that I looked at that game like that game looks really cool.
Yeah, it was like late December of 2014, like enough that I would consider it a 2015 game.
Giant
cool.
Bomb
It's your old game of the year.
It had in the game of the year talks. They were talking about it. So
yeah, it's an absolute. That game is an absolute fucking blast. And between like my top 3 is actually only one of the games that were in our quote unquote agreed upon top 3.
Yeah.
The only my only top 3 game is Bloodborne out of the ones that were mentioned. My other 2 are Final Fantasy 14 and Exard.
Yeah, and we'll all write up some stuff about our top games of the year. I'm sure I will make you all do it. We'll put it up on the website. We'll post it out for you all to enjoy. So I want to talk about other game of the year stuff, not so much game of the year, but kind of like the year in gaming.
Hold on.
Well, that guy's question.
Let's talk about his question.
That was gonna be. I was getting there. I was.
Let the man segue this shit.
I was segueing. Okay, it doesn't happen often, but I was getting there. Along with gaming in 2015, we saw Steam machines, which is the lauded. Here is PC gaming to replace your console gaming. Welsh's question asked earlier, I got to find it. He asked about why do people play consoles? Do you agree that the PC is the master race, consoles is a ripoff, and play games online, etc.? Games are overpriced, and the peasants have to pay their overlords a fee to play. I find it shocking thoughts. So, if you've listened to the podcast before, if you've heard me talk, I don't prescribe to the console wars or PC master race or bashing. Like one of the things that Sharks and Things is founded on is that first and foremost, we are all gamers, and what that means is that we enjoy games. Like, I don't care if you bought a PS4, an Xbox One, a Wii U, a PC, all that stuff. Like, I don't care. Like, did you enjoy playing your games this year? Sweet. What did you play it on? That's awesome. Like, it sucks that console gamers do have to deal with some of the shenanigans of, like, Fallout 4 didn't run well this year on consoles, which is surprising because, you know, it's a new console generation. That should be better. Like, we should expect better of that stuff, and it's a weird thing. But consoles exist for a very specific reason, and I think this is something maybe the four of us will agree on, and maybe not. We'll have that conversation, but like, there's something to be said about having a console that you pay $400 or $500 for, that you just connect to your TV and you put the game in, and there's nothing else you need to do
other than install it and patch it.
Yes, but that all happens automatically.
And then you got to pay for it. You got to take care of it. You got to take it on a walk.
But that all happens automatically, right? That's all you have to do.
It's a minimal maintenance, Bobby.
Yeah, I am console agnostic or platforming, not whatever the hell you want to say. Like,
it's all right. It's all right. All of us here are with you on that one. This is your safe space. Safe space.
Oh my god. I fucking hate it.
What have I done? It's over. Sharks Think expanded. Shiver is over. Continue.
Anyway, yeah, there are games that were console exclusive I probably would have rather had on PC. Destiny, yeah. Really, that's about it. But it's hard to say. Like, I think they all have individual purposes, like first-person shooters and stuff. Mouse and keyboard all the way. And obviously MMOs and things of that nature. I need to have a mouse and keyboard for.
All those buttons.
Yeah.
Yeah. My action games and stuff, I generally prefer on consoles because I can just chill out and freaking mash buttons on the controller.
It's less strenuous to sit and hold a controller reclining in a chair than having to be like actively engaged sitting in front of a mouse and keyboard trying to control your character.
Yeah, there's a reason why like you can plug an Xbox One controller into your computer and use
Shut up,
that.
Mr. Elite Controller. I don't need to hear it.
But I'm just saying there's reason why there's the Windows controller, which is just an Xbox 360 controller with the dongle and stuff. I mean, that's a market. People use the controllers even on PCs.
Yeah.
And it's also good, I mean, granted, I have a gaming laptop that can run, anything current in addition to my desktop. So it's not as big a deal as it used to be, but it was nice to have my consoles if I needed to like travel or go away for a weekend. It's a lot easier to just throw my console in a duffel bag with one of my monitors.
Yeah.
And set it up than it is to be like, well, shit, how am I going to game? I very well can't take my desktop with me. That's just a pain in the ass.
I think it's one of those things that a lot of people thought the Steam machines were going to be the answer to that. And I could see a day like where Steam machines are a thing that people can go out and buy and they hook up to their TV and it's an easy process. But like the Steam machines run Linux and that's a real problem for games. I mean, that
was the fundamental problem that I was going to bring up was they are not running the platform that most games are running.
They're not running the operating system that's required for a lot of the games to run well.
And you also think
like even if it was an old ass like Windows 7 license, granted I doubt anyone right now would get a Windows 7 license still, but just anything Windows, and I think they would have done better.
it's one of those things that, so like The Witcher 3, I bought on PC because like I wanted to. Look, the game looks good, and I spent a lot of time gaming at my PC lately just because the way that my apartment's set up, it just makes sense. I play a lot of games here. But the more and more I played the game, the more and more I was like, I kind of just want to sit on my couch and play this game. I think it'd be more enjoyable. And like there are kind of solutions out there for that. There's the NVIDIA, the NVIDIA Shield, and there's the Steam Link, which I have, and it doesn't work that great. I mean, we're a long way from some of that stuff still. And a lot of people say, well, you can build a decent computer for $500. Well, you can, but the people who are buying consoles aren't people who are building computers. Those are people who don't know how to do that.
Who don't want to.
So there's Mitch and I and Zach and Matt all used to work for Geek Squad. I don't think that's something we're going to hide about. Like, that's whatever. We all put in our time and we enjoyed what we did. But people used to come up and ask me, how do I feel? How can I sleep with myself at night knowing that we charge people?
Sleep with yourself?
Yeah.
Dude, I sleep with myself all the time.
Yeah. How do you sleep at night knowing you charge people $200 for something is very easy to do? To which my response is, like, you know how to fix your computer, but does your grandma? Does your mom? There are people out there who don't have kids our age to fix their computers for them.
Yeah. How much does it cost for a therapist per hour? How much does it cost a doctor, a dentist, or any of these other experts in their fields? I mean,
like there's something you said about, I just want to go buy a box, connect it to my television, put a game in, and then not think about it. Yeah, as Welshie pointed out that, hey, yeah, games on consoles tend to stay more expensive for a while. And hopefully, we've had this conversation with the Xbox One when they originally announced it. Like, I could see a future with that original Xbox One, like, always online thing that they could have gotten to a Steam level of sale because.
Yeah, I mean, look where games like PC games were, they were exactly where consoles are now before digital distribution was a big thing. Yeah. You went to the store, you bought a game in a box on a shelf, and those prices stayed pretty damn high for pretty damn long. Like it literally, I think you can still buy like StarCraft and shit for $20+, like the physical copies.
Diablo 2, and the full expansions are still 20, $30 in retail stores, which is hilarious.
Those are games. Those are games from the early thousands and late 90s. Those are really old games, and they still have a large price tag on them for their age, and that's because its physical distribution costs a lot of money to do.
Yeah. And unfortunately for consoles, that's where a lot of people buy their games. Like, it's one of those things like I have a Gamers Club Unlocked Best Buy thing, which for the price, that thing is at a phenomenal value, like 20% off new games. But it makes me sad because that means I'm stuck buying physical games if I want to get a good deal on games. Like, I would love it if I could just go get that discount on digital games. That'd be great, but I mean, we're stuck with what we have right now. And also, like, we've had this conversation about like Steam. I download games at like 15 megs a second on Steam, which means it's not that big of a hassle. But like to download games on my Xbox takes like I maybe get a meg download. Like,
yeah, I do. And that does suck.
At the same time, though, like consoles appeal to people who don't have like high-speed internet as well.
Yeah, that's true. Like there's a reason consoles and PCs exist, and I own an Xbox One, I own a PS4, I own an Xbox 360, an original Xbox, a PS3, a PS2, a PS1 somewhere. Like the only console I don't own right now is I don't own a Wii U, and that's just because there were no games I really wanted to play on it that I could justify buying that console for. Like,
no words.
Shut up, Matt.
That has nothing to do with me. Like, I brag on Nintendo every now and then, but that actually has nothing to do with me not buying a Wii U. It's just the only games that appeal to me on that console right now are.
Cody. One reason to get the Wii U, they have Donkey Kong 64 on their digital online shop.
Fuck that game. That game.
Why would that sell me, Matt?
That game. You know what?
Why would that not sell you?
Matt, I have an N64 connected to my television right now.
You know what?
You have a copy of Donkey Kong 64. You have a copy of
Donkey Kong 64 can go out to fucking Arizona and be buried in the goddamn desert with E.T.
E.T. was dug up. Donkey Kong 64 will come back.
No, that game was not that great.
Also, if any of our viewers has Donkey Kong 64, please message me as I'm trying to obtain an actual copy.
There's actually a classic gaming store over by us. I was going to go check to see if they have some copies.
Yeah, but for Donkey Kong 64, because you have to have the memory expansion.
I have a copy. You could not pay me enough to not just burn it.
You could just send it to me.
I will send you $10 in fact to not burn it.
No, you would have.
I'll send you a video of me burning it for you, and then I'll just hand it to Matt.
Am I the only one who loves that game?
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't mind it, but I played it when it came out. I got it for a birthday present like that year it came out. So,
dude, I played the shit out of it when that game came out. Like,
we've had this conversation about nostalgia before. I like Sonic Adventures. That game is not a good game, but I still like that game. Like, it's not a good game.
All right, Wii U, Donkey Kong 64.
It's like me. I liked Final Fantasy VIII. A lot of people did not like Final Fantasy VIII.
Final Fantasy VIII. Number one, Final Fantasy.
Okay, hang on.
There was a Final Fantasy VIII?
There was. Final Fantasy 9. We didn't talk about it because we were on break.
I hated 9.
9 is my favorite.
9 is the worst.
It is getting a PC
what
release.
What are you talking about?
Oh, no.
9 was the absolute worst.
This is how you destroy Sharks and Things, right?
This is.
We talk about Final Fantasy games.
Final Fantasy becomes the bane of our existence at some point in time.
It's the split between Dark Souls and Bloodborne Final Fantasy.
I was about to say.
Right in half.
I love Final Fantasy.
We talk about Dark Souls stuff, and then everyone's like, oh, yeah, we all agree on absolutely everything. Final Fantasy? No. We will...
No. Get the hell out of here with Final Fantasy 9 bullshit. Get out
9 is good. You shut your
9 is fucking terrible with the little fucking pansy ass, cat-tailed monkey dick bag douche nozzle.
VV will destroy you all. That is all I'm going to say. Little black mages for the win.
I'm going to go back to Final Fantasy 6 and Final Fantasy 5. Screw you guys.
I'm going to go back to Final Fantasy 1 where the black mage was a black mage. Whatever.
Notice how none of this conversation even mentions 7.
Whatever.
7 has too much of a reputation. That's why. It's too big for its own good.
That's why the remake
is too big to fail.
That's why I think the remake's going to fail.
I really hope it doesn't.
I don't trust me. I really hope that it doesn't either.
Final Fantasy was my first Final Fantasy, or Final Fantasy 7 was my first Final Fantasy game that I played through to completion.
Have we
talked after that, I went back to Mystic Quest for crying out freaking loud.
Have we talked about why I've never finished Final Fantasy 7?
Wait, you've never finished Final Fantasy?
So here's why I've never finished Final Fantasy.
Whoa! That's a whole different.
So
shut your whore mouth and let the man explain himself.
So I started playing Final Fantasy VII after I finally obtained a copy when I was working at a game store. It was like I was doing inventory for PlayStation 1 games, all 1,500 of them that we had in stock. It's a pain in the ass. It was every Monday. And I was going through, checking stuff off, making sure we had stuff on the floor for them. And I'm like, Final Fantasy VII. There's not a case for Final Fantasy VII sitting on the floor. I went back in the back and I was like, hey, Final Fantasy VII. I've never played this. I should buy this right now. So I went and bought it. Took it home, started playing it on PS2. Like, yeah, this is awesome. Got my Xbox 360. I'm like, okay, I'll put that away for now. I'm going to play some Oblivion. It should be fun. My Xbox 360, the original one, this is actually a test to how strong that console really was. Decided to do a barrel roll off of my entertainment center, landed hard drive first while running into my Final Fantasy VII case, destroying disc 3.
My God, the unfinished chapter.
I'm gonna go cry a little bit over here.
Can we like, do we have an animator or anyone who can just do basic animation and please make a GIF image of this? And it's just
yeah,
and
like
just have like a little like the RC Pro-Am sound from like the NES.
It was dumb. That's why I've never finished it. I've thought about it, but at this point in time, I don't know if I could go back.
I don't think you can recover from this tragedy.
I will wait until that remake comes out, and I'll try it then.
That's going to be the hardest part about the remake. Is the change in the combat,
weapons.
Yeah. Oh my God.
As Andromedus mentions, I as soon as they talked about the combat, I was like, "How the shit are you supposed to beat those weapons now?"
Yeah,
oh my God! What the fuck? I barely beat Emerald Weapon once.
Yeah, Emerald Weapon was like, quad casts, Knights of the Round with final attack Phoenix.
Yeah.
And then just easy mode. Ruby Weapon was just pure luck.
Well, that's what Ruby Weapon was for me. It's because you have to like go in with 2 people dead and then like freaking Phoenix them so you don't get instant party wiped. It was and then the tentacles come up and still beat the shit out of your guys right away. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I think the thing that killed that game for me is that I finally beat Ruby Weapon and then somehow lost my gold chocobo.
How do you lose a gold chocobo?
I don't know. I didn't play for a while, and then when I went back,
open the gates and let them go or something.
I don't know. I hadn't played for a while, and I went back and was like, okay, time to fly over here and check this place. Where's my gold chocobo? What? And I flew over the entire map looking for it. And I just, in the airship, and I just could not find it.
I'll be, like I said, when that remake comes out, I'll try that thing out. So I think that's where we are with consoles. The 4 of us agree that, the consoles have a exist in this world for a reason. I don't see them going anywhere anytime soon. There's a lot of talk about, hey, Final Fantasy, this will be the last generation of consoles, but I don't see them going anywhere. Like the rate at which consoles have been being sold, it's probably not going to happen.
No, they're just becoming more and more like computers, and eventually it's going to be like operating systems. It's like finally you have the Xbox operating system over here, which is essentially just Windows. And then you have the PlayStation operating system over here. And I mean that's what it's going to be like. They're just going to be really contained, and it's going to be a set hardware, and it'll be like, okay, you have this PlayStation game, you can technically put it in your computer and play it, but you might have issues like you normally do with some computer games. You have to tweak a few things and change a few settings, or you can just put it into this pre-built PlayStation box, which already has the operating system running perfectly fine for you. It's all tweaked, everything's done for you. You just put it in and you're good to go. Final Fantasy Tactics.
Also, I can hear frying bacon.
My wife is making breakfast. She asked me if it was too loud a second ago.
It's never too bad.
It's bacon, so it's never too loud.
I could waft the bacon through. My wife just waved to you all.
I'm serious. I could just throw this on in a white noise machine, and I would be content.
Just fall asleep to the sound. The problem is you can't fall asleep to the sound of bacon cooking because you're just sitting there like, oh man, bacon's done. When's that bacon going to be done?
Dude, now I have a hang. Oh my God! You just reminded me. I have an entire stack of thick cut bacon that I got while I was in my hometown for Christmas. I'm gonna fucking cook that. That sounds so good right
hankering
now.
for some bacon.
Other things,
All right, we've now become full circle with this
We have.
discussion. Bloodborne and bacon.
Yeah.
Bacon.
Is.
Now we're getting somewhere.
Yeah. This is now the Bloodborne Bacon Cast. Rebranding it right now.
Board.
Just gotta make sure everyone's got bacon on Sunday mornings, and we'll talk about Bloodborne.
Bacon on a Sunday morning.
Bacon. I'm trying to think. So 2015, as we kind of
2015. What?
2000. Yeah. Go. Just go.
It was the year 2015.
20XX, man. 20XX.
I think we're getting into Star Wars territory here.
Probably. But no, that was a long time ago, man. That was a long time ago.
A galaxy far, far away.
Yeah, in a galaxy far, far away. What else happened this year in gaming? Like,
Oculus became recognized as this is going to have stuff on it. PlayStation
we got
VR also was recognized as this is going to have stuff on it.
I mean, that'll be this year.
Google Cardboard is pretty cool.
2016 will be the year of VR. I don't know if I'll buy one, but we'll see. You need a
You're
pretty.
gonna buy one. You're,
I don't know, man.
gonna
You need
buy
a pretty
one.
beefy computer for that.
you're gonna buy one. That's it.
It probably will.
You're gonna drop like $1,000, get an awesome graphics card and a VR headset.
Like all you really need, like right now, if you depending upon your platform, you need $600 for an Oculus, probably $400 to $600 for a good graphics card, and whatever processor that most
You
people
need
like.
a
If you have a,
970 or
I have one of those.
equivalent to ATI.
yep,
Yeah, if you already have one, all you need to do is spend this $500-$600 for the VR headset, whichever one you want. Otherwise, the 10 series, the 1060, 70, and up are supposed to support it just fine as well. Whenever that comes out, and then the equivalent ATI. So if you have that, you're set. But otherwise, the VR headsets, yeah, I thought they're supposed to. I didn't think 600 was a good price point for them. I thought they were going to be priced like 400 or 500 ish, like just around new console territory.
I don't know.
I think the developer's kit for the Rift is around 400 or 500.
The developer's kit for the Rift is $1,500.
well, it's essentially like
DK2?
that. Well, it's that like
Those
an
are
SDK,
DK2.
isn't it?
I don't know. We'll see. Like, it's one of those things. Like, as we're pointing out in the chat here, that VR is one of those things that it's a hard sell. Like, how do you, like, a lot of people are like, hey, that thing's awesome if you can look at it.
Well, okay, it's
But-
there's
so,
a
like-
lot of risk with jumping to a new experience. So
We're going
Not-
to see pop-up stores, I think is what's going to have to happen. Like, in the Microsoft store and Best Buys and probably Target, they're going to have to put up someplace where you can go do it.
Yeah, you're gonna have to go like see it. You're gonna have to put a headset on and actually experience it. And that's gonna what's gonna make or break VR is the early adapters.
Yeah.
As whoever goes out and buys it like day one, whatever they say, that's gonna make or break VR this year.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I've also determined that tomorrow I'm going to go buy a new camera because mine's doing this stupid thing again.
I think it's
I've
your
determined
internet.
that you're actually also a robot.
Oh,
Yeah, because it only starts flickering when your internet starts having issues. So
that's weird. Am I still a robot?
no, you're better now.
Okay.
you're less robot-y.
I need to restart my router. That's
You're
probably
a
what I need
bacon
to do.
robot.
So you can get an HD webcam for $31 right now.
I was going to get that
Bacon.
high-end Logitech. I haven't decided yet. Whatever.
the
I
Nikon.
got one of those. Right
See,
here.
I've got the 615, and it does fine for me. So
Oh, they have an upgraded one. They have a 930E. I didn't even know.
To be fair, my wife did just get a new Nikon D3300 that does video. I'll just look that thing up, like right there.
we will see all of your face in glorious 4K resolution.
Now I want you to set up multiple cameras everywhere, and I want
So-
just like a 3D panoramic view of your head.
what Ben's
So-
trying to say
Stitch
is he
that
wants to
together.
creep on you.
So we can finally have the Sharks and Things Google Cardboard edition.
Yes,
So we can actually cardboard cast.
we could be the first 3D podcast in you.
See, but this would piss us off because we couldn't actually use Shark Tank. Because where else would we put ourselves in like a giant virtual Shark Tank?
Yeah, this is true.
Bloop, bloop, bloop.
I don't know. Other like trends for this year were interesting. We got that Elite controller.
It's very
Okay.
nice, by the way.
This was the year that I think Kickstarter games finally got released, right? Like we had Pillars of Eternity came out this year.
The big ones.
The big ones happen.
There have been other games previously that were released from Kickstarter though.
Yeah.
But we had some bigger ones. Like Divinity. No, that didn't release this year. It released last year, didn't it?
Yeah,
It was last year, but Enhanced Edition came out this year.
I don't know. This year more MOBAs. The year that freaking Blizzard shipped more than one game.
Yeah, that right there is crazy. They don't do that.
So what was all released this year? We had Heroes of the Storm, StarCraft 2, Legacy of the Void. Was Reaper of Souls this year, or was that last year? Okay.
Yeah, but they did do a ton of updating. Like
We have,
hefty amount of updating.
What's their other one? What's that? What's their first? The first person shooter.
Overwatch?
That's out here in a couple of months, supposedly. Like,
Yeah.
Why is Blizzard? What happened? Did Activision showed up, right?
Activision threw a bunch of money at them, said, "Hey, expand your fucking team. We need more games from you."
Finish this shit up now. I don't know. This has been a great year. Like, this is probably the best.
Apparently, Bobby Kotick really loves Overwatch.
I heard. Okay.
More executives loving gaming. See, proving points already.
2015 was probably one of the best games in a while. Like
2015 was a really great game, Cody.
it was. I'm like,
I've
what
been
did you
playing it
see?
all year, and I have yet to be disappointed.
Here's the problem. I have the smell of bacon coming into my nose right now, and I'm just like,
You've gotten that
salivating. The
I'm
salivating.
that bacon.
I'm also
You
trying
can't tell it's a beard.
to read chat. I'm trying to read what games came out. It was a weird thing. Let's wrap this up with some stuff. What was your favorite moment, like gaming moment of 2015?
Ooh,
The first hour of Witcher 3, I want to say.
I'm gonna go with a specific boss fight in
The Old Hunters.
Bloodborne, in the Old Hunters.
The one that we talked about. Talk about spoilers.
Was it the Flaming Cleric Beast?
No. What can I talk about spoiler? I'm not. I don't know.
Go for it.
It was
It's
Lady
spoiler.
Maria.
Oh, what was the orchestral's music ahead of it?
She was the female hunter that the doll was based off of,
Mhm.
because just the moveset and the fight itself was just so tense, and the music was great, and it was just one of those moments where it's like, I don't know if I could complete this fight because there is so much epic everything happening right now.
What else? Matt, what's your favorite moment of this year?
Oh, Devil May Cry 4 Special Edition was also another great moment.
let's see. I would, of all things, Life is Strange, episode 1. I turned it on and I went, well, this isn't bad. And then I lost 6 hours, just gone explicitly. And I wondered, what did I actually just do? And I ended up getting the full season pass to it. That was really weird, because again, Life is Strange. It's like there's I won't spoil anything for story wise. Granted, there's a decent amount that goes into it, but I haven't had a game that's just like, hey, I'm kind of cool. You should come check me out. Okay, how you doing? And ends up just being cool. See ya. Same time next week.
To bring it right back.
Yeah, I not even Fallout. Like Fallout sucked me in a good amount, but I've never just like blown 6 hours on a game that I've barely even heard of.
Yeah.
So that was my moment of the year of holy shit that I actually played this.
I was trying to think of what my moment of the year is, and I don't know if I actually have one.
What?
It's
Bullshit.
us. It's Trash and Things.
It's coming here every Sunday morning.
It is. That is my favorite game of the year. My favorite gaming moment of the year. I'm gonna not lie. I'm gonna cheat, and I got 2 of them. Personal gaming moment of the year. That moment you load up Rebel Galaxy and the slide guitar rolls in, and you hop in your space semi, and you're like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go space trucking." That might be my favorite. That is probably my favorite moment of this year. Of just like, I love space games, and that game was just like, let's just do this. Let's hop in our space truck. I'm gonna buy some stuff at this and take it over to that one. It's gonna be great. Get those cannons firing. Now, get some slide guitar going. It's so good. That might be my favorite soundtrack of the year, by the way. My favorite moment of gaming that I didn't actually participate in, but I watched, was Contradiction. I watched the Giant Bomb play of that, and that game is very special in a very, very interesting way.
Contradiction?
It's a FMV game. It is fully FMV. It is a point-and-click murder mystery game. It's essentially set up like a DVD game where you're clicking through menus to get to stuff. Kind of like Night Watch. The acting in it is it's hard to tell if it's bad like on purpose or bad just because it's bad. If you haven't seen this game, go to giantbomb.com and watch the guys play the first hour of it. It is absolutely hilarious. The characters are really funny, and the studio behind it
play freaking Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes.
Yeah,
that's a good game too. That's
I never got a chance to play it this year. We talked about doing it for the extra live stream and just never happened. I bought it, so maybe we'll do that some weekend.
It's fucking hilarious.
Those are my moments of the year.
Well, if you want to say gaming moments, then maybe universally the E3 cast where they're doing Bethesda and showing off. Oh, here's Fallout. Here's fucking Doom. That was awesome. I am sorry. That was just a good like, hey, you like games? Cool. Have all of them. And everybody in the internet was exploding with excitement.
Yeah.
That was gaming moment of the year.
Anything else? I think if we're going to talk about disappointments this year, that'd be Fallout 4. My biggest surprise of the year was actually Assassin's Creed Syndicate being as good as it is. Game is way better than I thought it was going to be. Especially
I need to pick that up too.
After finishing Unity, I'm not even done with Unity. I need to finish it because I'm a masochist, or is it sadist? Whatever one's the hurt.
You hurt yourself.
I hurt myself.
You get sexual pleasure from hurting yourself.
Yeah, sure, fine, whatever. I had to I know that I'm not going to get a Prince of Persia game, and so Assassin's Creed is the closest I'm going to get for a long time. But no, this new one is super good. I really like it. The two characters are fantastic, Evie and.
You just gotta wait for them to reboot the franchise again.
Prince of Persia for the third time, yeah, fourth time actually. Combat in the game is super fun. It's super fast. It's brutal. I've seen some Evie will throw her sword from her sword cane across to assassinate somebody in the head from 10 feet away. She'll be beating up one guy over here and attacking the other guy over here, and you'll activate this whole strain of assassinations, and she'll just pull the sword out and just whip it across and hit somebody in the head with it. And you're like, okay. Yeah, that was.
This is not physically possible, but that was badass.
Yeah, that's super fun in that game. If you've been shying away from Assassin's Creed, I would maybe suggest checking this one out. It's way better than the last one was. I don't know. Do you guys have disappointing or surprise moments this year? I think probably Matt sounds like his was Divinity when he was talking about it earlier.
Surprise!
Yeah,
it's awesome.
Divinity was easily surprising. Of why did I not get this earlier? Why did no one say this was Baldur's Gate 2? If they said this was Baldur's Gate 2, I would have just said fuck to the yes and bought it immediately.
I'd like to compare what they did with the enhanced edition with the original, because the original was kind of disappointing, honestly.
I played a little bit of the original, yeah. It dropped off. I'd be try that enhanced edition.
Yeah, because it was awesome. Whoa, what the fuck? Where are we going?
Yeah.
Yeah, Zach, I don't know online they have GOG versions with no DRM. So if you own the original, then you could probably grab that one and not feel too guilty.
Zach, do you have any surprises or disappointments this year? Something break your heart?
I mean, this is the first time I didn't get into a Blizzard alpha / beta in the first wave for Overwatch.
Yeah, I don't think any of us have Overwatch betas.
Nope.
Yeah, which is weird because every single Blizzard game I have gotten in first wave.
It's weird.
First or second wave is I for Heroes of the Storm. I got second wave for that, and that was I mean, I'm a MOBA guy, so I played a lot of that.
Yeah, the only other thing was how little I actually played of I can't tell if that's bacon or Cody exploding.
It's both. It's me saying like we need to finish this up because I would love to go eat some bacon. Bobo bacon.
So yeah, like with me, it's how little I played a Diablo 3 Season 4. I will play a shitload of Season 5, I will tell you that. But I didn't play a whole lot of Season 4, which was surprising, considering how much I'd played the previous seasons. Maybe I was just burnt out. And the only other surprise was that Devil May Cry 4 Special Edition happened. And it was fucking amazeballs.
Yeah, season 4 roped me back in of Diablo 3 for sure. I played a lot of that, which surprised me because like I tried playing several of the previous seasons, as Matt can attest to that, and I couldn't get into Diablo 3 like that. And then season 4 came around. I was like, I'll try it out. And then the cube is what honestly did it.
Season 5 starts.
There's like an additional objective. That's all they needed was that additional objective. Like Diablo 2, a lot of what I did in Diablo 2 was grinding for like cube mats. It's like, I want to build this recipe over here. I want to get this. I want to create this blood sword or something over here. And then suddenly it's like, oh, look at that drop. Wait, it's screwed up on this. I need to re-roll that. Oh, fuck. That means I need to go grind for these runes over here. So the extra, just those little sub-objectives, really. That's what did it.
They thought
thing
inside the box and they brought you back.
Yeah, so the interesting thing and why I will probably play a shitload of Season 5 is mainly, it's the joke because, all my friends are like, so what are you going to play? It's like, well, I'm going to do the same thing that I've done every other season. I'm going to start with a Crusader. I'm not going to get any drops for the first month. I'm going to get real pissed off and reroll a Barbarian. And be fully decked out in a day. Because that has been every single season thus far. I start with a Crusader. I don't get shit for drops. I make a Barbarian, and I have all.
Here's what you have to do, Zach. Here's what you have to do: roll your Barbarian first.
I can't.
Nothing for a Barbarian.
No, I can't.
And then play.
Because of the thing they added, the gift where you get the free set.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
You only get it once. So I have to play my Crusader first.
You need to do it for your Crusader.
You could be a wizard, Harry.
You could be. I like the wizard.
Mitch, witch doctor.
Mitch, wrap us up. What were your moments this year?
Well, I said my favorite moment was the first hour of Witcher 3.
Yeah.
I mean, that. If anyone has played like Red Dead Redemption, you know that moment where you like go into Mexico riding on your horse. No.
Yeah.
Okay.
As opposed to another animal.
That's kind of like the start of Witcher 3 was like, I'm just riding around on my horse in this pretty landscape, and
look at my horse. My horse is
amazing.
amazing.
So many like opportunities that are popping up right now, but I don't actually need to do any of these. I can just walk around and I can just look at things, and then suddenly this guy over here screams. It's like you're suddenly roped into like this side quest over here, and it was a never-ending chain of like side quest after side quest until I realized I had to get on track to actually complete the game.
Yeah, hopefully beat that game this month.
Yeah.
Okay.
60 hours in, I think I'm maybe a quarter or halfway, maybe at most, into the game.
Before my internet gets any worse, we're going to wrap this up. I don't know what happened. I'm going to restart my router when we get done with this. 2015 was a great year in gaming, and I hope 2016 is just as good, if not better. There's some good stuff coming out this year. Thank you, everybody who hung out in the chat with us today. I really appreciate it. We got some great questions. Glad to do that, as always. I love having that interaction with you guys, so keep
loving
that up.
The participation.
Yeah, loving it. I love getting questions.
All participation awards.
You all get gold stars for the day. I mean, we've been on for about 2 hours. Our normal podcast on Sunday, it tends to be about an hour to an hour and a half. and we usually play a game beforehand. If this is your first time watching or listening to the podcast, we're here every Sunday morning starting at 10 a.m. Central Time, 11 a.m. Pacific, and 9 o'clock Pacific, 11 o'clock Eastern time zone.
Say.
Weird.
Wait, what?
Well, what about
We're going to GMT, man. We're going to switch this to GMT, UTC, make my life easier.
Right, yeah. Tell me, what time was it, Cody? What time was it?
4 o'clock. 4 o'clock UTC is when we started today. Normally we hang out, play some games for about an hour before we do the podcast, and then podcast for about an hour and a half, depending on what we've got to talk about. Audience participation is greatly appreciated with that. Helps us get some topics going. I'd like to answer your stuff that you guys want to know about. This year is going to be a great year for Sharks and Things, I hope. I know. I have some plans this year. I'm sure the four of us all got some stuff we need to work out. As soon as we have some Game of the Year lists written, we'll get those posted up for you guys. If it's your first time here, I highly encourage you to hit that fave button or the follow, the heart. Click that. You can find us here. Mitch
That's
and
the
I
love button. Click
Mitch
the
and I
love
try
button.
to every Thursday night do a game design session. We are currently writing a pen and paper RPG with a friend of ours. Really like to have people come hang out for that and give suggestions and stuff they'd like to see. You can also see all of our previous podcasts and some of our play togethers over on youtube.com/sharks and things. You can follow us on Facebook and Twitter at Sharks and Things. We'll post all the stuff from this there along with all the other stuff we got going on. It should be a great year for us, and hopefully we can see you guys every week from here on out. Got big things planned. You guys any shout outs or anything you want to do before we sign off for the week?
Shout outs to shout outs.
Go out and play games.
Go out and play
Shout outs
games.
to Razor for making Zach look sexy as hell every week.
Zach's got his Razor stuff going on over there. It looks super sexy.
Razor everything.
Yeah, he is Razor everything. Shout outs to Green Man Gaming for offering us affiliation this year. Hopefully we'll do something more with that this year around. Go. If you're not familiar with them, they got some pretty good deals.
They always got good deals.
There's some controversy with them, but we'll have that conversation later because I've got some thoughts on that controversy. Dark, thank you for joining us here at the tail end of the podcast. Glad to see everybody hanging out today. Glad to answer some questions from you guys. We'll see you guys next week. I'm gonna go eat bacon.
Welcome to the
I'm
new
gonna
year,
come
everybody.
over.
Bye-bye.
Cody,
See you
I'm
next
gonna come
Sunday.
over and
Bye.
eat some bacon.
New Year's bacon.
All right. See you guys.
Bye.
Enjoy your 2016 and go play some games.